They say one small habit can change your life. But for Daniel Cole, that habit didn't just change his life, it made him a millionaire. And the crazy part, he didn't even realize he was doing it. This is the story of how a broke, exhausted man who could barely afford rent stumbled into a daily routine that quietly built him a fortune, one so powerful it could change the way you think about money forever. It started in 2013. Daniel was 27, living in a tiny one-room apartment that smelled like instant noodles and hopeless dreams. He had $46 left in his account, no car, and a job that paid him just enough to survive, but not enough to live. Every morning he'd wake up, open his cracked phone screen, and stare at his banking app like a bad joke that kept repeating. He hated his life. He hated his job. And worst of all, he hated how he felt powerless. He wasn't lazy. He worked hard, 10-hour shifts, 6 days a week at a delivery company. But every time the paycheck arrived, it was gone before he could blink. Rent, bills, food, debt. And by the 25th of each month, he was broke again. It was a cycle he couldn't escape. He thought money was something other people figured out, rich kids, tech bros, or lucky geniuses, not people like him. One night, something small happened, something that seemed meaningless. Daniel was scrolling through YouTube at 2 a.m., trying to distract himself from his financial anxiety. He stumbled on a 6-minute video titled The Latte Factor. The man in the video said something that stuck. It's not the big money that makes you rich. It's what you do with the small money every single day. Daniel rolled his eyes. He thought, easy for you to say, rich guy. But something about that line haunted him. So the next morning, while waiting for his bus, he opened his notebook, an old one from college, and wrote a single line. Where does my money actually go? That moment, that single line, became the beginning of his million-dollar habit. Daniel didn't start a business. He didn't invest in stocks. He didn't even get a raise. He simply started writing every single expense, from his $2 coffee to his $50 grocery bill, in that notebook. It took him 1 minute a day. At first, it was depressing. He realized he spent $180 a month on small things. He didn't even remember buying snacks, subscriptions, and little treats to feel better after bad days. But soon, that 1-minute habit changed his awareness. He stopped spending mindlessly. He started saving, even if it was just $3 a day. By the end of that first month, he had saved $92. It wasn't much, but for Daniel, it felt like a miracle. It was the first time in years his account didn't hit zero. That small win triggered something in his brain. He thought, if I can save $92 without feeling it, what if I doubled that? So he set a rule for himself. If I save it once, I'll save it again and add one new source. Month by month, Daniel's awareness grew. He started packing lunch instead of buying it. He canceled old subscriptions. He learned how to fix small things instead of replacing them. He turned saving into a game. In 6 months, he saved $1,200. In 1 year, $2,700. And here, where the magic began. Daniel didn't let the money just sit there. He started reading about where to put it. He didn't know much about investing, but he found a book called The Simple Path to Wealth. And the author's advice was clear: buy low-cost index funds, let time do the work. So Daniel opened an account with just $100 and bought his first ETF. He didn't understand what it was, but he made a promise. I'll add something to this every month, no matter what. That promise became his obsession. Fast forward 3 years. Daniel was still working the same job, still living simply, but his account balance had changed. Between his savings and investments, he had $18,000. Not lottery money, but for someone who once couldn't keep $46, it was unreal. And more importantly, he had built something even more valuable: discipline. That discipline spilled into everything. He started waking up earlier. He began watching finance videos instead of random entertainment. He learned about side hustles, freelance work, and digital marketing. Within a year, he picked up a skill, writing simple ad copy for local businesses, and began earning an extra $500 a month online. Every dollar went straight into his investment account. The broke man who once hated money had turned his habits into a machine. A slow, quiet, relentless machine working for him day and night. In 2019, something big happened. Daniel got laid off. At first, panic hit him like a train. But then he looked at his finances, and for the first time in his life, he wasn't scared. He had $27,000 in savings and investments. Enough to survive for months. That financial cushion gave him courage. Instead of rushing for another job, he took a bet on himself. He decided to turn his small copywriting side hustle into a full business. He worked from coffee shops, sent cold emails, and built a small list of loyal clients. The first year, he made $40,000. The second year, $85,000. By the third year, he crossed six figures. The same man who once couldn't afford a pizza was now earning more in a month than he used to earn in a year. But he didn't upgrade his lifestyle. He upgraded his investments. By 2023, Daniel had done something extraordinary. He had invested consistently for nearly 10 years, every month, no matter what. He never chased hype. He never timed the market. He just stuck to his 1-minute rule. And that rule, writing down his expenses and investing what was left, quietly built him over $1,020,000 in assets. No inheritance. No miracle. Just discipline, consistency, and awareness. People asked him for his secret. He laughed and said, "My secret was realizing that every dollar I spend is a decision, and I just started making better ones." Daniel's story isn't about luck. It's about awareness. He didn't become rich overnight. He became rich over time. By doing one small, boring thing over and over again until it turned into a fortune. And that's the truth most people miss. Getting rich isn't about finding the next big thing. It's about mastering the small, invisible things that compound quietly when no one's watching. The $1,000,000 habit wasn't investing, saving, or even earning. It was tracking. It was noticing. It was caring. Because when you start paying attention to where your money goes, it starts paying attention to you. So the next time you feel broke, stuck, or hopeless, remember Daniel. He didn't start rich. He didn't start smart. He started aware. And that single habit changed everything. You don't need a miracle to get rich. You need a habit that compounds quietly until the world finally notices. So maybe tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself the same question Daniel wrote down years ago. Where does my money actually go? Because that one question might be the beginning of your $1,000,000 story.